probably worth a what's it, a bug report. But I've already submitted 3 bug reports, and the first one was there are no license plates on the case harvesters, which, you know, cosmetic thing, but there's no license plates on the case harvesters, which is a bit of a pain. The Dominator, the class Dominator, doesn't have one either, and neither does its header trailer. But I didn't know that till today. And if weeds grow, just drive over the field. So potentially, if any of these fields have weeds tomorrow morning, just fit doubles or wide tyres and just drive a tractor all over them and your weeds go away, which I thought was a bug, and they closed that ticket and said, nope, that's working as intended. So apparently just driving over weeds kills them. So yay for that. Obviously you don't want to be driving over a field with crops in it just to destroy your weeds, because that will also destroy your crops. But you know, the fact that you can drive over a field and destroy the weeds, kind of weird, and sort of means that you don't need to buy a weeder if you plant the field and then weeds grow. There was a third one as well. Oh, the rock picker doesn't stop when it gets full. And I think that's a problem. If you think about when you're harvesting, you know, the harvester gets full, the harvester stops. If it's on a worker. If it's not on a worker and you're driving it, it just lifts the head up and the header stops going around. So you know that the harvester's full, and you can't do anything with the harvester except empty it or drive around with it. You can't turn it back on again. The rock picker, when it gets full, it carries on picking up rocks from the ground. Sorry, it doesn't pick up rocks from the ground because it's full. It makes rocks magically disappear. And that's whether you're driving it on or a worker's driving it. Now, if you've got the rock picker because you want to make a little bit of extra cash selling the rocks, then that's a problem. Now, if you turn off the rock picker and the worker doesn't turn off the rock picker when it's doing turning around, then it just keeps going. If you turn off the rock picker, you can't turn it on if it's full. Kind of like the harvester, you can't turn it on if it's full. But yeah, the issue is that it gets full. I can't actually tell how full that rock picker is now with the because I don't have vehicle inspector because it's not available yet. So theoretically what we need to do is not drop that on the floor, is jump over to here and see how we're doing. So he is half full and kind of close to half done, but he's going to fill up before he's finished this field. But he is not going to I'm going to stop doing adjacent rows and just turn this around and do it alternating. Because it's just easier to drive, not have to backwards and forwards when you get to the end of the field. But anyway, so that rock picker is probably going to be full before it reaches the end of the field, but it's it is going to eliminate all the rocks on the field. So that's kind of an issue, I think. Now we want to get as much of this rock picked as we can, or ploughed as we can, so we can set loose the rock picker. Swing around the tree again, because that seems to be the easiest way to go. But I can just line that up there and then just go, rather than trying to do adjacent rows where you're going backwards and forwards all the time. Problem is coming back the other way, the blades are on the wrong side. No, yeah, that would be nice. Have a little bucket on the front of the tractor, like the Millennial Farmer has, and then you can just pick up a rock and stick it in the bucket and keep driving. And also, if you need additional weight on the front of your tractor, you can just fill the little bucket with rocks, and it's a homemade weight. That would actually be nice if they gave us that ability. Yeah, you can put rocks in a little tray on the front of your tractor and use them as a front weight. So it looks like if I drive with the left wheel just out of the rut, that's sufficient to be where I want to be. Hang on a minute. What is the time? It is midday. Woohoo. Yeah, I think the problem is you can't pick up rocks by hand, so you would need super strength as well. But yeah, it would be fun to have, sort of a tool tray or a toolbox on the front. In fact, it would be fun if you could have a tool tray on the front. You could configure it as a weight by having something inside it. You could have a toolbox in there so that, one of my tractors needs maintenance because it's broken down in the field. I'll just put the tools in my my little thing on the front of my tractor and drive out there, and it's a mobile workshop for a bit. Okay, this is obviously working a lot easier for me than trying to subsoil a cultivated field. So at this point when we're done with these jobs, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so we're okay for now. We're not going to plant anything today. Might go and check on the stuff at the factory that we had to build because the French map does not include an oil producing place, in spite of the fact you've given us olives and they kind of fit with the south of France, where I'm not sure you see much in the way of olive groves in the Midwest on a place like Elm Creek. I mean, I kind of think even cotton, not particularly common in the Midwest, but I would consider doing an American farm with big fields of cotton and possibly any small fields you have, grow grass in them and do sheep as well, and then have a fabric producing factory that you're shipping your cotton and your wool to. That could be a good combination. Part of the reason why I wanted to do olives. So we're going to plant olives on the field that the Fiat's currently picking the rocks up from. But we also had canola fields here. So these fields along this road, I'm just going to plant canola in them. I could consider planting sunflowers so we have a constant supply of stuff we can make oil from. That was my last phone before my field crashed. Your field crashed. Yeah, I've never done cotton. Obviously, I've actually done potatoes and the other things that are a pain in the butt. Sugar beets. I haven't done sugar cane, apart from when we all bought the Platinum expansion in Farm Sim 17, and one of the first things we were supposed to do on the tutorial on that map was plant a sugar cane field. So yeah, I'll plant a sugar cane field, and then you find out how painful it is to harvest sugar cane, and you think, I'm never doing this again. But yeah, and a lot of the time you do the same with sugar beets and potatoes. But if you want to do pigs, you need to be planting sugar beets and potatoes, or potatoes. And for the longest time I avoided doing potatoes, and it was Alien Jim's what was it? What was Alien Jim's map that he provided you with all the in Farm Sim 17 he provided you with buildings that this thing's in the way again. You click on a hitbox on the map, and it would park that over there. We'll drop that off there. Now he's not in the way. How are you doing? You're full, see, and he's now going to still keep running. If I stop him, and he made those rocks disappear. Those rocks are disappeared. Now, if I try and turn the machine back on, I have to empty it. But it will carry on running when if it's full, and you don't turn it off, and the workers don't turn it off at the end of the field. So, bug. And yeah, I kind of expect this thing to work like a harvester. So you're driving up and down the field, and when it gets full, it would stop. Empty that off. JWoww, good morning. And welcome to Friday, non-working day stream. Now, one thing I do use the sugarcane trailers. I will admit to that, and I use them for foraging. So let's put that there. So now he's just going to go to that side of the field, and he'll finish it up. Yeah, no. When did I use it's sugarcane technologies? So these trailers here, they take forage and silage and lots of things. So you can buy one of those, go back, you can buy forage harvester header, one of those, and create forage. And you attach the forage header onto a tractor, you drive along with the high tip behind you, and obviously when this gets full, it'll stop. You pull up a tipper on the side and you just high tip it straight into it and carry on. Yeah, you can have your worker carry on. I need to take a brief bathroom break. I will be back in a couple of minutes. Okay, back. Let's get with the ploughing. I thought I left a gap on this line. We're still running engines, so it may only have been at the other end. Maybe it was over there. No. Okay, I'm just going to run down. Like there. Yes, okay, it's just at the end here. It looks a bit unploughed. Lift that up, turn around, tight turn. Come on, you can do it. Okay, so what's doing? Big rock pile. Turkey day. So yeah, I was talking about equipment at the start and how we've lost a common go-to tractor in the Valtra N. This tractor is a strong replacement, I would say. Where the Valtra N is a small tractor, it's fairly cheap with 205 horsepower. This tractor pretty much fits that bill. So, worth considering. For Farm Sim 19, or for Farm Sim 17, pretty much everyone said, yeah, go Valtra N because stuff. And yes, you can have narrow tyres, so it can do crop treatments. You've got wide tyres. You've got 205 horsepower maximum. You can put a front loader on it. You've got power takeoff on the front and the back. So it was a really good tractor, and I will admit for Farm Sim 17, pretty much every time I started a new game, Valtra N's the first tractor I want, because it can do pretty much everything with small equipment. Now, big equipment, it's going to fall short, but that's the way I looked at it. For Farm Sim 19, again, the same, but we got the Fendt Favorite 500 series, and that was a lot cheaper. 90,000 or just under 100,000 would get you a tractor with a front loader and 150 horsepower, which is good. And it's a heavy frame. It might be a small tractor, but it's a heavy frame, so it did work well. I mean, being a heavy frame, it was a long frame as well, so it didn't turn quite as good as the smaller tractors. But it's less than 100,000. That's a good, solid starting tractor. And again, for Farm Sim 19, I started off using the Valtra N, and then I switched to the Fendt Favorite when I figured, hey, this thing's cheaper, so I can I can buy more other stuff when I'm using it. Now, where's the bit I missed? I probably didn't miss it, because I've probably already driven over this with one of the Culti-Plow things. This tractor works the same, so if you can't get a Valtra N, get yourself an Arian 600, because it does all the same things. So when I found out the only Valtra we're getting, the only modern Valtra we're getting is the Valtra G, which was a mid-season Farm Sim 19 tractor. I was sort of, okay, I can make do with that. I did like the Valtra G. Where is it? Lost it. There it is. You go from 110 horsepower to 145, so it doesn't quite fit the role of the N, but it's about the same size, and it has the same functionality. but it was far more usable than the A because you also got the power transfer at the top, at the front, and the A just had a bulk weight on it. And so the G's a good small tractor to have around the farm. I've got one on Oakfield in Farm Sim 70, and I kind of like it. But we lost all of the other Valtras, and I was like, oh, we lost all the Valtras, that's bad. But, you know, as with all things that Giants does, just because they take something away doesn't mean there's not something that's the equivalent of it. So, you know, Arian, we didn't get the Arian 400. I'm a little bit sad about that because that had that nice panoramic window on the top. So you could sit in the cab and do front loader operations and see what you were doing. But we got the 600, we've got the 800, we've got the 900. We don't have any Zerians, which is a little bit unfortunate. We don't have much in the way of modern cases. We've got a small one, but none of the big ones. Although they did give us the 7200 Pro as a first day mod. So it's not all bad, I guess. Now, I don't think I've covered near enough of this field to let the Fiat loose, but I think the Fiat's probably finished. Yeah, we're heading across the field we don't need to do. I suppose I could set him loose on the bit I've ploughed, but I would have to stay up there. Actually, let's set him loose up here. Jump back down to here. Problem is I don't want him running into the area I haven't ploughed yet, because kind of wasting his time because there's no rocks. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is when it came to the ANTS Valtras, I generally didn't use the in-game models. There was a model available, or there was a pack available on FS UK before that went down. And full set of those 4 Valtras with far more engine options. So you could get a Valtra A with, I think, getting on for about 125 horsepower, which actually made it a little bit more usable than the base game model. You could get the S with a 180 horsepower engine, which made it cheaper than the in-game version, which started at 210, and it had a lot more options in between. So, and it had genuine Valtra colours rather than the sort of the Giants colour palette. So I did like those. Unfortunately, as I said, FS UK went bye-bye, and all their mods went with them. And so that Valtra pack, I lost it when my hard drive failed. Which is why when I rebooted our Saturday stream, we ended up with the Valtra G rather than the Valtra T. And I lost a lot of other mods that I'd been using on that series. So, but yeah, I'm a fan of Valtra, although I understand in real world terms they can be a little bit unreliable. But yeah, the whole tractor thing, I don't know it's a big deal that we do have brands or we don't have brands. I mean, we don't have the armor track. Did anybody actually use that in 19? But you know, it's sort of there is a tractor for every occasion. Even if it's not your favourite manufacturer's tractor. Now, modders will fill in the manufacturing gaps, but the tractors they're adding aren't really more or less capable than the tractors that are already in the game. They're just different variants, the same colour or similar prices. What kind of hard drive was it? It was right here. It was a 2.5-inch SATA 6 gigabytes a second SSD. AD80A, but it completely failed on me, so it's now a paperweight. Not a very effective one because it's not very heavy. So, basically it was my SSD that failed, and it wasn't a particularly big one. It was only 250 megabytes, so sad, but unfortunately the way that Farming Simulator works, it puts all of your mods on your C drive, even if you install the game on a different drive. And so I went out, and it was sad. I lost everything on the drive, but most of my data, except the mods, were on my D drive, so I didn't lose any data. I don't know. It doesn't have made in Taiwan. It does not have a name on it. It is an agnostic SSD, so probably not particularly reliable. But I got myself a 1 terabyte SSD, which means I can now play games off it, and everything runs like a lot faster. Like I said, I can't remember what SSD I replaced it with, but I replaced it with one that I recognised the name of. I said, yeah, that sounds good, we'll go with that. My daughter's PC could really use an SSD, but it could use a couple of things. It's a little bit of a budget PC, so it doesn't have a graphics card and it doesn't have an SSD, which can hamper its speeds and display capabilities. Sadly, I can't upgrade this PC and give her my old graphics card because she's got an AMD processor and I'm running Intel. But I probably won't buy her a graphics card anytime soon because frankly they cost a freaking fortune because of the chip problems. But an SSD might be on the cards, and I might do my wife a favour, Mrs. Osa a favour, and get her a bigger SSD. Because she's running all her installs off of her hard drive, which obviously is a old technology thing. I mean, I'm not too worried about teenage Osa's slower than average PC. It works, it does what it needs to do, so. And we were we need to get you a PC so you can do schoolwork and you can do other things. So yes, we'll get you less than $1,000 for the PC, whereas Mrs. Osa's and mine were $1,700 each. But as I said, our SSDs aren't particularly reliable, and obviously if I can get to Mrs. Osa's PC and install a better SSD on it before it goes belly up, that would be an ideal circumstance, I think. yeah, this PC I've been running almost as is, just with the SSD upgrade, since I started streaming Farm Sim 17 on Lawfolds. So that was September 2018. So it's 3 years old. But we spent a fair amount of money on it. It is very reliable, and it is still capable. I'm running this game on highest graphics, actually modified highest graphics. I think I changed the number of mirrors that work, because default